All right, how's everybody doing? Good, all right. Well, thank you all for coming today. This is an exciting time of year. We've run day 3 of practice now. You can see all the guys here coming up. They've been working hard, just got out of the cold tubs here, so they're ready for some lunch soon, right? Yes. We're excited to be in this new facility. As you can see here, this thing is really a transformational facility on this campus from students, faculty, staff. The entire campus is going to change in a positive way because of this facility. We're excited about the 2012 season. Less than 3 weeks away. We're going to be playing Augustana September 1st down in Sioux Falls. So again, we're very excited. Coach Das has done an awesome job and his staff rebuilding this program, from where it was a couple years ago. In the last 3 years, they've really taken it and made some positive strides. So we're excited about where this program is going. And again, 3 weeks from now, we're looking forward to putting the helmets on and getting out there and down in Sioux Falls. Coach Das is going to come up in a couple minutes and talk about kind of the plan for this year, introduce his student athletes, introduce his players and coaches. First of all, I'd like to introduce our president of Northern State University, Dr. Jim Smith. Dr. Smith has been instrumental in really helping rebuild this program and putting the resources and the staffing into getting this program to where it needs to be and really taking this institution to the next level. So I'm excited to be part of his team. So I'd like to bring up Dr. Jim Smith.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new year, and the students are coming, like it or not. We may not be quite ready yet, but these guys are already here, and on their heels are athletes from other sports. Our international students will move in about a week or so, and then our general student population will move in about a week from that point in time. As Josh said, it's been a busy summer. Those of you who were in this facility just about a month and a half ago, you just said, where's the equipment? That's all been taken care of. If you haven't had a chance to walk around the facility, I urge you to do that after we conclude the press conference, because it really is a phenomenal addition to what is a great building. The Barnett Center, many of you know, we've had visitors from all over the country and all over the world that look at the Barnett Center as a Division I facility, and we said it is a Division I facility, but it needs some facelift. And this is a heck of a facelift. So thank you for all of those of you who were involved in this, who helped raise money for the building itself. Mr. Georgie's over here in the middle, and we're always still taking contributions. So if any of you have a spare $100,000 that you'd like to drop off with Todd, I know he'd be appreciative. We are anxious for a great year. We're anxious to get to know some of the new young men who have joined our football program. We know certainly a great deal about the returning players, some of whom did not look particularly good in that ice water, I might add, Coach Dosh. Their waistline might be a little larger than mine, which is kind of scary, although they do tell me they run a lot faster than I do. We're anxious about the season. We're anxious about where we've been and where we're going to go. We're excited about what our program is developing into, and I know Coach Dosh will talk more about that, but I think we can say that recruitment was as brisk as we could possibly anticipate for this year, and we have some young men that are with us that we're very excited about watching perform on the field. If you haven't seen, there's some t-shirts that say this, and I think it was written in some kind of paint in the newspaper. Leave no doubt is kind of the statement for the year. So my final words are all framed around leave no doubt. Leave no doubt that we're serious about what we do on the field and off the field. We're serious about the behavior of our athletes, not only in football, but in all of our sports. We're serious about the fact that they have a higher GPA than does the average student body member here at Northern State University. If you take athletes as a whole, the GPA is larger or higher for athletes than it is for the general student body, student who is a non-athlete. I think that's an impressive fact that we need to continue to share. The on-field and off-the-field seriousness relates to facility upgrades. Not only is this a new part of a new building, or a new part of an old building, we have completely gutted the student center, and hopefully, I should knock on wood here, in a week or so, you won't have to walk through the cascading that you guys have to walk through now to eat. Is it kind of like a gauntlet getting down there to find food? I notice that some of you are not missing meals, so I'm going to guess that you made it down there. We don't have the real big O-line guys here with us today, Coach Tupou's probably found his way down there too, I might add. Facilities upgrades are not just in the Student Center and not just here. We have Crickhack Auditorium, which is a historical auditorium that we're upgrading for classroom use. We've done a great deal of classroom upgrades with more technology and more things that are state-of-the-art for our students. We are in the midst of a historic time for Northern, because our next project will be the Johnson Fine Arts Center, which you can see right out from the window. We'll be beginning on that transformation of that building in just about a year. We're starting to do architectural design now. So stealing from Coach Dosh's phrase, leave no doubt, we're serious about putting together the best that Northern State University can give for our students, and I know they're serious and committed to giving you the very best they can on the field. It says that I'm supposed to introduce Coach Dosh, but he really doesn't need an introduction. The man that can do Darth Vader with a great voice, a great coach. These guys tell me sometimes he's grumpy. I've never seen that. I did hear some wires might have been burning early this morning, Coach, that some people weren't on the right page today, and Coach can be kind of emphatic when that happens. So I'll walk away and turn the show over to our head coach, Tom Dosh.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. I appreciate the introduction. First off, I want to thank everybody for coming here again today. Thanks to Jackie, Josh, and everybody here for setting this up. I want to introduce, just start off by just introducing our coaching staff. We do have a few new members, acquired a few new members over the course of the summer, and I want to make sure everybody knows who they are. I'll start off with our assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, Mark Martin. Our defensive backs coach, Coach Jason Hoskins. I don't think, he's still coming? All right, he's on his way. He's down there getting some paperwork taken care of for Coach Holmes. Offensive line coach, Mike Schaefer. Mike's also our recruiting coordinator. Our long-time veteran of our staff, 10th year, right? 10th year in our staff, running backs coach, Maya Tupo. And also some new additions as well. One addition we acquired throughout the course of the last month or so is Matt McClagan. Matt is our new defensive line coach. He is originally from the Twin Cities area. Minneapolis, Washburn is where he went to school. That's where I met Matt when I was recruiting him about 10 years ago. And he spent time he played at St. Cloud State, and he was a graduate assistant there as well, getting him real familiar with our conference, real familiar with our area, having been at really one of the best programs in our conference right now as a player and coach. And then he's been at Jamestown College the last year and a half as well. So we're real familiar with our scheme and hit the ground running. And so he'll talk some if you want him to. He's not going to say much. He doesn't have much left of his voice. And we're only 3 days into it. So the D-line kind of liked that this morning, I think, that he couldn't yell quite as much. But we're excited to have Matt aboard. He's really done a great job and brought a lot of energy to our staff and a lot of knowledge of our system as well. And there's Coach Hoskins, just came walking in, our defensive backs coach. We've also got, Jordan Brown is one of our new additions. Jordan is our tight ends coach. He was at Devils Lake, high school Devils Lake, North Dakota the past few years. Shane Clancy has been with us now as a player and coach for several years, right, Shane? And Shane is just finishing up his student teaching this fall. He's coaching our wide receivers. And then Adam Kiefer is the student assistant coach, helping out Coach Martin with our quarterbacks. Am I missing? The other two guys aren't here yet. They must be down working. Okay, they're running the film. So we've got to get everything filmed, and we got to get it all ready to go. So that's number one of our top priorities. And I'll just introduce our players here. Basically what we've got up here today is our seniors. We've got a dozen seniors, and then we've also got our fourth and fifth year juniors, basically guys who have been in the program for as long as I've been here, 2.5 years. And then and Jared is here as well. So I'll start down there with Philippe Elfea, our kicker. You don't want to be too stereotypical, but we've got a foreign kicker, so we want to stay along the lines of what you're supposed to do. If you're going to have a foreign guy on your team, he's supposed to be a soccer player from another country. John McDowell, inside linebacker. Mike Tuke, outside linebacker. Inside linebacker, Logan Fonhorst. Linebacker, Matt Williams. Wide receiver, Chris Morton. Defensive back, Jason Gaditz. Offensive lineman, Robert Johnson, who I just found out about a half an hour ago is engaged to be married next year. You're really regretting telling me that on the way in from practice, aren't you? Well, anyway, Robert's playing offensive line for us. Defensive line, Mason Thorstead. Offensive lineman, Rob Neeson. He's got a slick back look today. He's looking good. Running back, Chris Nguyen. Defensive back, Marquise Moki. Defensive back, Logan Dosh, not related. One of them, he'll be very quick to tell you that. So I beat him to the punch today. Tight end, Trent Ayler. Defensive lineman, Ike Sirleaf. Wide receiver, Mark Hanley. And quarterback, Jared Jacobson. So they'll be available at the end of the day. If you guys want to shuffle over a little bit that way, just slide down. You're making me nervous with you standing right next to me. Now I know how you feel when I'm all over you. So, but when you look at our coaching staff and the players, they've really collectively really invested a lot in our program. I've been here for 2.5, going on 3 years now, and really, just a lot of time and effort invested in our program. And we just had a huge majority of our returning guys. Over 80% of our returning players were in Aberdeen for the whole summer or most of the summer, and really spent a lot of time with Coach Berner and his staff, and got to spend a lot of time. We can't really have any contact with them in a football sense throughout the course of the summer, but they did a lot of stuff on their own. They organized some team sessions, doing pass skeleton and one-on-ones with the big guys, and just building your team and building your chemistry. And it was good to see, and certainly our coaching staff having put a lot of time into this. Dr. Smith talked about when we first got here where we were at team-wise, and just from a recruiting standpoint, but also hopefully from a retention standpoint as well, right, Andrea? Is just getting getting guys here and then keeping them here, and that's really critical to our success. And so there's just a ton invested. I joked a little bit with some of the guys earlier. My first meeting when we got here in January of 2010, we had a team meeting. Somebody asked me how it went, and I said it went fine, but somehow the linemen didn't get invited. Well, they were there, actually, but we just didn't have many big guys on our team at that time, and that's one thing that was supposed to be a joke, by the way, but we didn't have a lot of big guys on our team, and we're continuing to build that as we go, and certainly when you look at our team now, when you see us out at practice, and when you look at our recruiting class the last year or two, we're able to get just a lot more big guys, and that doesn't guarantee you anything, but on the offensive line, defensive line, tight end, we just got bigger frame guys that can carry a lot of weight, and that can put, you be able to utilize a facility like this with Coach Berner and his staff, and just be a more physical team. Because really, that's what you need to do in our league right now. If you want to compete week in and week out against the top teams in our league, which are really the best teams in the country, you've got to be a physical team, and that's something we're working on. And that's easy to say, it's hard to do, and that's all positions. It's not just on the offense and defensive lines and tight ends and linebackers. That's part of it, but all of our guys really are getting more physical. And we'd like to think we've increased our team speed as well. As you look at our team, the guys just running around out there at practice, we've just got more guys that can really move their feet and stuff. So got about 105 guys that reported for fall camp last week. We'll add a few more guys when school starts. That's a good number to work with, a good group of guys from a work ethic standpoint. Our first 2 days were Saturday and Sunday, which are by NCAA rules. You can be just in helmets and nothing else. Today was our first practice where we put the shoulder pads on, and we had good and bad stretches the last 3 days. You'll see if you come out to practice, you see our pace of practice is really pretty good. We don't stand around much. We keep things moving, and we try and practice at a high tempo. And what we'll find out over the next few weeks, or next few days, I should say, in the next couple weeks, is the conditioning will really come into play. And that's probably how football's changed the most, I would say, in the last 15, 20 years. It's one of the things that changed the most is you come into fall camp, it's really hard to get into shape once you start fall camp. You got to be there, because as Josh said earlier, we play a conference game in 2.5 weeks, or less than 3 weeks. We play a conference game down at Augustana. So you better be ready, and you got to be at your conditioning level. Better be at a high level when you get here. You don't have nearly as much time as you used to have with some new NCAA rules a few years ago, and there's no non-conference games, scrimmages, anything like that. So we got to be strapped up and ready to play. And that's why we put a lot on our players to have great summers and work real hard and get themselves in position to play at a high level come this fall. So we'll find out here in the next few weeks where we're at, but we're sure excited to be rolling along here. We returned 6 starters on offense. We returned 7 starters on defense, and we returned our kicker, Philippe, as well. So, when you look at our 24 spots, when you count kicker and punter, we returned 14 guys at those positions. The one thing that we're able to do, if you watched us play last year, is we do play a lot of guys. Defensively, last year we played about 23 or 24 guys. We rotate a lot of guys in at all of our positions, especially defensive line and linebacker. So even though we've got some guys returning who weren't starters last year, but they played a lot. Those guys play a lot on special teams, and they play a lot on defense. And there's a lot of reasons why we do that. Primarily, I guess, we want to keep fresh players out there. We want to stay as healthy as we can, and if you do get banged up, which is going to happen in football, we want to have guys ready to play who have played some, as opposed to throwing a guy in a game in the 3rd or 4th quarter and he hasn't played it down yet. That can be pretty hard and pretty unrealistic, to be honest with you. So, we play a lot of guys on defense. Offensively, it's the same thing. We have a lot of different position groups. That's one of the things we do in our offensive set is we're going to get into 1 and 2 tight ends and 1 and 2 backs, and we'll get up to 3 or 4 receivers as well. So a lot of that has to do with our game plan for the week. So as a result, we're going to play not quite as many guys on offense because we don't play too deep all the way across the board, but we have 15 to 18 guys returning we played 15 to 18 guys on offense. A lot of those guys are returning. So I think that's a big positive of the way we do stuff. And you're going to see us play a lot of young kids. When you look at, again, our summer workouts, we had a lot of guys that stayed here this summer who were just finished their first year at Northern and were redshirted and, have 4 years of eligibility. I think we had 13 or 14 of those guys that were around here in Aberdeen this summer. And that tells you a lot of investment made by everybody in our program. So we got a lot of work to do. We're excited about that. And certainly our core group of guys we got is really a fun group of guys to be around. So, I tell the team this all the time. Everybody wants to talk when they talk about our team. I know there's a lot of excitement, and a lot of the talk is how the season finished for us last year. And we won our last 3 games. We won 4 of our last 5 games, and certainly that was very exciting for our program. Really exciting for our players and coaches and everybody involved in our program. We really don't dwell on that too much because it doesn't pay to spend too much time talking about that. And I tell the players and I tell the team this every year. I'm going to tell you the same thing every year. We could be 15-0 and win the championship, or 0-15, or 0-11, and we're going to. You can't dwell on the previous year a whole lot because it's over and done with, and you got to move forward. Now, you hope that, however the previous season goes, it's a learning experience for you guys, and hopefully one of the things that we were able to come out with last season is really our perseverance and learning to win. And that was one thing our program, and we're still learning that, but that was one of the biggest obstacles that we had as a coaching staff was getting our guys believing they could win games. And you saw that probably in a couple games earlier in the year. Last year that happened, and I think we're starting to figure out that we have a chance to win games and believing that we can win games. It still doesn't guarantee anything. You still got to go out there and do it. But the mental part of it's as much as the physical part that I've been talking about. So really what we preach to our players is we're going to play hard, we're going to study hard, and we're going to train hard throughout the course of the year. And again, if you watch us practice, you would see we don't really practice that. We don't practice that long. Our practices from start to finish are honestly done in a couple hours, and we really go at a high tempo. We film and we practice, and we film everything at practice. We spend a lot of time. These guys will tell you we watch a lot of practice film throughout the course of the fall camp and during the season, and we use it as a learning tool. So I think that's really what our guys have believed in. That's what they're investing in right now is practicing hard, training hard, and really giving it. We're going to go out and we're going to be an effort team. We really are. Our guys are really going to give it what they got. And now hopefully when you've got guys, a lot of these guys, especially who have been in our offense and our defensive scheme and our special teams schemes for 2 or 3 going on their 3rd year, you certainly are looking for some retention, you're looking for recall, and you want that comfort level to be what it is, at a high level when guys are playing. And Dr. Smith mentioned the leave no doubt as our motto this year. What we do every season really in January, when we have our first team meeting coming back after the fall semester, we do several things. One of the things I do is I ask the guys on the team to give, they give basically nominations for what we think a good team motto is. And we usually come up with 2 or 3 of them, and then we have we vote within our team. We vote within our players all vote on a motto that they think will be appropriate for our team. And it's not just on the field. When you look at just being a student athlete and being a student here, you want to leave no doubt in a lot of things you do and how you conduct yourself in the classroom and off the field and everything else too. So that was a motto that as a team we overwhelmingly was the one that the guys wanted. So you'll see it on T-shirts. We got it up on a board and stuff, and that's kind of our rallying cry that we use throughout the course of the season. So it's really based upon what you guys did and what you guys nominated for our team last year. So that being said, I'll open it up for questions rather than just sit here and talk all day. But if somebody has some questions offensively, defensively, team-wise, anything, I would take those questions right now.
What are your expectations for this year?
Expectations, it's really hard to put it's hard to say, well, we want to win this many games this year, or what's your record going to be. I think when you look at a season collectively, when you're 2.5 weeks away from your first game, one of the things we talk about is finding a way as a team to get in every game, be in every game in the fourth quarter, and have a chance to win the game. I mean, I would say, you want to win them all, certainly, but if you look at the big picture too much at this stage of the game, you kind of lose focus of the task at hand. And right now, our task at hand is really all about us and really keeping our focus on what we got to do to prepare. So, again, going back to drawing on our experiences from the past, drawing on the fact that we've got several guys in our program who have played quite a bit. We expect to play at a high level. We expect to compete at a high level. Now it's a matter of finding ways to win games when you get to the fourth quarter, finding ways to finish games the right way. And that's really all you can ask for as a coach is get yourself in position to win the game when the fourth quarter rolls around. And I probably gave you some coach speak there. I don't know, but it's true. I mean, I think that's collectively where you want to get. If you can do that and you can win enough of those games, you want to get your team into the upper half of our conference, and getting into the top 2-3 teams of the conference. Every year, those teams are playoff type teams, and so that's where you'd ultimately like to get your team, your program. But for me to stand up here and tell you that right now, I'd be hypocritical because I'd be losing focus of what we talk about every day, and really, that's what we preach all the time. Is just control what you can control and take care of your business every day. And our plan is to get into every game and be in every game and have a chance to win the game by the time the second half and the fourth quarter rolls around. And conditioning is a big part of that as well. And I think that's why we played our best football the second half of the year. We were a very well-conditioned football team. Even though we had a bunch of injuries last year, the guys that were with us were well-conditioned. And football's it's a survival of the fittest, really. It's a battle of attrition. And so we were able to keep that rolling and play good football, hopefully at the end of games and hopefully as the season progresses.
Since you've been here, running back has been such a fluid position, a lot of injuries and stuff like that. How comfortable you feel with the running backs this season, I guess?
Well, you're right on the money there, Ryan. That's something, as you look at our first 2 years here, that's been a big issue on our team is depth at running back and keeping those guys healthy. There's a lot of mean guys running after him who want to do bad things to you when you got the ball. So, that's where, we had some injuries last year. And right now, we feel we've got 4 returning guys at the tailback position that, we've got some confidence in. John Hughes entering fall camp is our number 1 tailback. He was with us, got here in January, and was with us for spring ball. We've also got Terrell Walker from Pierre, South Dakota. We moved him over in the spring, and he really did a lot of good things. Cam Pudwell is from Redfield, South Dakota. He redshirted last year. And then Chris Nguyen, who we moved over from defensive back to running back last year. And they all have different styles, really. When you look at, John and Chris are kind of slashers. Terrell can kind of do a little of each. He can slash and be physical, and then Cam is really, he's a 240-pound some guy who's really a banger, but he's a skilled guy as well. So I think that's, right now we've got three or four guys that we've got confidence in, and we've proven the last couple of years you need to have that. You need to have confidence. Whether we play a true freshman at that spot, really, it's too early to tell. But depth at that position is very critical, and those are, as we head into fall camp, those are the four guys that we're leaning on right now. Doug? I'm not going to tell you, Doug. We're going to be unpredictable. That's what we want to be. So no, that's probably been one of our biggest challenges as a football team. Is, like I said earlier, is being more physical. Because ideally, you get yourself in a situation in the game where you're able to run the ball more. If you can run the ball more, you can control the line of scrimmage, you can control the clock, and ultimately you can control the game. And I know Hanley and Morton don't like to hear that, but a big thing for us is really just being the way teams load up. Teams can stack up the line of scrimmage and stuff now. It's really hard to say we're just going to line up and run the ball continually all the time. We need to get better at that, but really just be more unpredictable and be multi-dimensional. Probably, I think one of the things we're shooting for is a higher completion percentage in our passing game. We throw a lot of high percentage things, because really you do a lot of short passing game and stuff. Those ultimately become like a lot of screens. Those are really like running plays. Just finding different ways to get different guys the ball in our scheme is really a big thing. But we've challenged our team to be a more physical team, and hopefully if that happens, you can be more effective at running the football. And if you watch us play last year, and you saw our running game last year, the last 3 games of the year when Jared was playing quarterback for us, we do a lot of stuff out of the shotgun running game where we get into 1- and 2-back stuff. And ultimately, if you get into a 2-back set, then you've got a quarterback who runs pretty well. You really have 3 running backs in the game, So it's a little different because you're in the shotgun. Everybody thinks you're going to throw it, and really teams run the ball more out of the shotgun now than they probably throw it. So probably balance is still what we're looking for, but ultimately being more physical and being able to run the ball at critical times in the game. And when we did that last year, we were a better football team. We won more games, so it certainly correlates. Anything else? I'm going to turn it back over to Josh, again, and he'll let you know we'll be around. Everybody will be around today, but excited to have this opportunity to talk to you, and thanks for your time, and go Wolves.
All right, we're going to open it up to the staff and student athletes to any questions you might have. Student athletes, you can quit flexing now. We've been flexing about half an hour, so you can kind of take it easy now. Hey guys, come on, this is the 3rd day of practice. You'd be excited here, right? Okay, so if you want to stick around and ask questions, any of the coaches, student athletes here, feel free to do that. Thanks for coming. Go Wolves.